what are your thoughts? Is that something people should be including on a daily basis?
Um, Kind of depends. I mean, I don't think it's a terrible thing to incorporate, just because I mean, naturally, right now we're in like a super sterile environment, right? Because everybody's wiping down everything. But I think in general, it's not a bad thing to incorporate, just because I think, especially if we were eating maybe a little bit more naturally, we'd be like gardening and be exposed to like more soil-based organisms just naturally in our day. I don't think it's a bad thing. If you have any gut issues or even not like gut issues, like things like acne, migraines, just other chronic conditions, having a good probiotic can help with those as well. And you can find like, there's a database out there. It's called Probiotic Advisor. And you can type in the condition that you're trying to address, and it will give you specific strains and then the specific product of a probiotic that is researched to help that specific issue. So you can find one that's, researched and clinically shown to help that thing versus like, well, I hope this helps, because some of them can be really expensive. So might as well spend your money on something that's proven to help.
So when we're talking probiotics, though, that automatically like goes to supplement, but there's also like other ways we can get probiotics without supplements, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So like sauerkraut, kefir, kombucha, those types of natural ones, yogurt. You can get non-dairy based yogurt too. So just having those in our day, especially sauerkraut, you can just like, that's easy to add into things. You can use they have like gut shots, which is essentially like the juice of sauerkraut. You can use that as like a salad dressing or something like that.
I imagine it like a shot.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can get it. It's ridiculous, right? It's a byproduct of sauerkraut, and they sell it for like, I don't know, like $6 or something per jar. And yeah, you just take like a little shot of it. And I was like, I'll just buy the sauerkraut too.
Chaser.
Yeah, exactly.
Does pickle juice do that?
What's that?
Does pickle juice do that?
I don't think it's the strongest probiotic out there, but I'm sure it has some.
Actually brings me to a really good question, which is almost everybody says after you've finished a round of antibiotics, like hopefully people aren't sick with coronavirus, but I know a lot of people who are sick right now with sinus infections, with all sorts of stuff. They're on antibiotics. Like, is it a waste of money? Are you just throwing your money down the drain to be like taking probiotics right after? Should you be doing that? Like what?
You can take them at the same time too. You can just take them at opposite times of the day. Okay. Yeah, I would 100% do that. If nothing else, decrease your chances of getting like antibiotic. Yeah, I would definitely try
like bacterial overgrowth. Is that what she said? Because it blanked out like right then. Decrease your chances.
Antibiotic associated diarrhea.
Oh,
yeah, but that too. Yeah,
because antibiotics wipe everything out, right? They're not
usually terribly specific. Yeah. I could be wrong though. I'm not super well versed on like specific antibiotics, but they're gonna hit a lot of things.
Getting stronger. The antibiotics as a whole are getting stronger because the bacteria and such are kind of evolving.
Right.
So they're kind of causing more GI distress as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Now there is one question that a member asked, and this is very specific. So she in her family has history, her mother and perhaps her father, but definitely her mother, of ulcerative colitis. Do you know about a genetic link with that, and what are signs that she should be aware of? And this is a very medical question, so but this was a question that she asked.
Interesting. So. Yeah, I mean, that's a hard one in the respect of like genetic. There might be, but then you also look at nurture as well, just because like your bacteria, your microbiome is greatly impacted by your mother's, especially if you were born naturally versus C-section. That's a huge like predisposing factor as far as someone's gut health in the future, is whether you were born naturally or via C-section. Now I think C-sections are a little bit, we're just more aware of like how important the microbiome is. So I think they make more of an effort to still expose the, baby to that bacteria right away. But I think that's a big factor. And then you also look at just the other factors of nurture. It's like they were on the same diet. They probably ate the same environmental stressors, and things like that can contribute and change your microbiome. Things to
Now,
look
when you
up.
say microbiome, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
No,
can
you're
you kind of tell us exactly what you mean by that?
Yeah, and that's actually right. I should be more specific because microbiome is just a population of bacteria, right? So we can have our gut microbiome, we have our skin microbiome, we have the microbiome in our mouth, and that's just like the different populations of bacteria on our body. So yeah, our gut microbiome specifically is, I guess, largely created from when we're born. When we go through like the vaginal canal, that's where we get our microbiome essentially from. So for babies that are born via C-section, we don't get that. So that initial like inoculation of bacteria is different. And that's a big determinant factor of potentially how your gut health can be in the future, other chronic diseases or conditions that can develop later. That's a big factor as well. But also like your environmental exposures, like how clean your house is, if you're, on a farm versus like living in a city, the pollution that you're exposed to. There's so many factors, lifestyle factors that go into shaping how robust and how strong your gut microbiome are, and how strong and healthy your gut microbiome or the balance of bacteria in your intestines are, greatly impacts the health of your actual like gut lining. So if we have sick bacteria or imbalance of bacteria in our gut, that can lead to more inflammation at like the gut lining, potentially leading to like ulcerative colitis or something like that, or chronic constipation for a while. That's a lot of buildup of pressure over time. The more constipated we are, the more, because our waste is like truly waste, right? Like our body's trying to get rid of it. So think about being constipated for a long time. That, don't want to say toxic, but not good stuff, that waste, the stuff that's in that waste that our body's trying to get rid of, is sitting next to that lining of our intestines and potentially just like causing more and more inflammation and pressure. So that can be one of the ways that ulcerative colitis can kind of start to manifest.
So you're saying I should not be cleaning my house because that's going to make me healthier overall?
No, definitely not.
I wanted to try.
Okay. Number one, how important are probiotics to weight loss and reducing belly fat? Should I be drinking something like kefir daily?
Weight loss is probably not going to affect it. Taking a probiotic could help reduce cravings, which might lead to less snacking and such like that. I think that's the more fundamental piece versus, and kefir could be good, but it's still going to be like the overall calorie intake that's going to affect your weight loss. But if your digestion is easier, less cravings, it's going to be easier to stick to a lower calorie diet.
Cool.